Welcome back to another episode of the Gifted Performance Podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and subscribe for future content. For more information about our one-on-one coaching and other training or nutrition options, visit giftedperformance.com. Our newest feature, the Gifted Express, offers premium programming for bodybuilders, powerlifters, Olympic weightlifters, and lifestyle clients for only $30 a month. Enjoy the video. We'll see you on the next one. And as always, stay gifted. Welcome back to another episode of the Gifted Performance Podcast, the GPP, giving you knowledge and practical takeaways to improve your own general physical preparedness for training, for life, for inkjet printer repair, for anything you could possibly want. You come to this podcast right here for the advice that you desire. Gentlemen, that was an interesting discussion to start things off. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing well. I worked out already. I had my coffee. I'm ready to go.
I'm jealous, Dom.
I've been thinking about becoming a morning trainer. I've been trying to train at like sometime between 2 to 4 in the afternoon, and I feel like it fucks me, and then I end up having to work till like 8 p.m.
It's amazing how much time training takes in the middle of the day. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, like I was in and out 45 minutes today.
Yeah. I noticed that shift when I started going in the morning. I was like, how am I done this early? And then it's like you look at the rest of your day and you're like, what was going on before when I would try to go at 2? And I'd be there till like 9 o'clock at night. And I was at the gym for 7 hours. Like, what am I doing?
Like 32 singles on sumo deadlift at 87%, and that takes a while. You got to stop and eat like 3 or 4 peach rings between each set.
A bag of Sour Patch Kids.
Dude, if I like train legs after like 7 p.m., dude, it's 2 hours. I just can't give a fuck. Like,
I can't train late. Late is a not. I used to do that when I worked security. I would train and then I would immediately go work. So I would train from like 8 to 10. Ugh.
But you go to work with that fresh pump, brother. You put on that security shirt, just
fresh pump. And I was like, man, no one's gonna fuck with me tonight. But then you get a 145-pound kid and he's 3 blue Long Islands deep, and he'll throw hands with anybody.
Nah, you have to wrap up a 145-pound kid and you catch a bicep cramp and you're just worthless. Like,
this is true. This is very true.
Good old days.
All right, gentlemen.
Good old days.
Let's dig in with a taste of the internet. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Music, we'll do our best to explain this, to visualize it for you. This week's hot take came from someone that I like. I think he puts out a lot of good content. Spencer Nadolsky. I don't think that this is a hit. Like, I know what he's going for here. I see what he's saying, but I don't think this is the one. So, Mr. Nadolsky, Dr. Nadolsky, he says the doctor's office of the future will be a gym. Good take? Bad take? What do you guys think?
I see where he's coming from. But I don't think that's going to happen, Dr. Nadolsky. Otherwise, you won't be a doctor anymore.
like, we've all taken physical activity and disease. Like, we know where he's coming from. But I don't know, dude. He's an influencer. Like, his primary goal here is to say shit that sounds really nice that fucking doesn't make any sense or doesn't really mean anything at all, so that he can get those 6,000 likes. You know,
he got him. He got those 6,000.
I just think about the future. Like, how far in the future is he looking? Because I think we were talking about this before the podcast. Like, there's a bunch of just hacky personal trainers and fitness professionals, whether or not they know they're hacky or not. There's a bunch of them, and it's because they haven't been. There's no bar exam to become a personal trainer. Like, nobody's really determining whether or not these people know what they're talking about, so they can just basically say whatever they want. And because they are considered fitness professionals, which just means that you work in fitness and you get an income, people listen to them regardless of how valid the things that they say actually are. So I think this would have to be so far in the future that becoming a personal trainer is like, you have to go to school for 10 years to write a program. Like, it wouldn't make sense. Like, we're talking about, if this were to even come to fruition, it'd have to be like far in the future, and it probably wouldn't.
Dude, Yeah, no way in fuck would this happen in his lifetime. Like, it's not happening anyway. Like, you'd have to completely rewire what the education fucking path to become a doctor.
Like it's... I mean, I go to my gym all the time, and there'll be like a flyer on the wall, and it's like, become a personal trainer. And then it shows the days of this seminar, and it's like 2 days. I'm like, oh, so Saturday and Sunday now, you can now help somebody with their fitness, but I wouldn't want to go to my doctor, and he's like, you know what? You know how long it took me to do this? 2 days.
Listen, doctor. Listen, there's not going to be a fucking future unless you fix this baby formula shortage, because these kids aren't going to make it. I'm sitting here texting people like I'm buying drugs. Like, hey, where can I pick up some of this?
Let me get a pinch, bro.
You're going to have to, like, buy some shit that was made in somebody's fucking bathtub.
I'm going to give away protein soon.
You're going to have to start buying other mothers' breast milk and shit.
You know that's actually a thing.
Fucking...
Yeah, it is a thing.
Yeah, some Cambodian breast
people,
milk.
like, stock it. And so, okay, anyways, I digress because I'm annoyed. But...
I mean, dude, it's just, you know what would have been like a good post is, I feel like doctors should take more classes in exercise science and how it relates to disease. But that's not sexy, and it wouldn't get the, I mean, because he's so popular now, maybe you'd get 6,000 likes, but that's not how you get to this influencer status, by saying like reasonable shit that makes sense.
Yeah, I think he ran out of shit to post.
He's running into the squat you crisis, where he has nothing left to post, so he's just saying insane shit. But I feel like the gym is a place where people are in very close proximity to one another. So like, if you have a highly infectious disease, you should definitely go to the doctor and not the gym. Like 100% don't go to the gym if you have like the flu or some shit like that. You should go to a doctor. There's a reason these things are separated from one another, and it's because it makes sense. Maybe in the future, gyms will have a doctor's office inside of them. Oh, there we go. There's an idea.
Yeah. I mean, he operates within the fitness community, so he probably spends all his time thinking about metabolic disease and things related to obesity and inactivity. But, I mean, look at the audacity of this post. The doctor's office of the future will be a gym. Like, this is happening. I have not even seen like a little bit of a shift that like anything close to this is happening.
Personally, I mean, a little bit of pushback. Like, I almost don't want doctors to know anything about exercise, because if they did, people would probably go to them before they came to us, because they just assume that doctor, like, you're my physician, you know a lot about nutrition and exercise, which most of them do not at all. So if they start to learn a bunch, then all of a sudden they're going to start going to those people. I mean, here's a hot take. I mean, I have had a lot of conversations with nutritionists and dietitians, and I'm like, oh, you don't know that much more than I do. So I feel like if all of a sudden physicians and doctors became synonymous, or physicians and fitness professionals became synonymous, then I think, like, we would probably be out of a gig. We'd have to do something else.
Here's an example. The physician that we saw for Jimmy's last visit to the OB told her that they were going to run a CBC because they were worried that she had anemia. And she said, I probably don't have anemia. I have red meat every night for dinner. And the doctor turned to her and said, oh no, red meat is a stage 2 carcinogen, right up there with smoking. And this might be why people don't have this general distaste or distrust for physicians, which I think exists a lot in the fitness community. Is like, a lot of the fitness community have the take of like, I don't need the doctor because I go to the gym and I eat a healthy diet. And I saw that kind of really pushed forward during the pandemic. People were like, oh, I can't get COVID because I go to the gym and because I eat fruits and vegetables. So like, open the gym, open up everything, let me go where I please. And that, I think, has mutated into like a general distrust, or I don't even know what to say, what to call it.
I mean, dude, these people saying this, they don't know shit about life yet. They're all in their 20s and early 30s. We'll see how much you don't need a doctor when you're fucking 65, right? 70. Like, you're going to need the fuck out of that doctor. Like,
and he won't be in a gym.
I mean, that does sound like something in the future, to the point where there's a gym inside of the doctor's office, or a portion of it. That would make a lot of sense. Like, hey, I'm a physician who only spent, I think it's like 3 to 7% of their total education is on nutrition and exercise. So out of all those years, I don't know anything, but you know who does? The person on the other side of that glass door knows a lot about that stuff. I'm going to send you over there. They're going to give you some answers. That would be a lovely relationship. We might need to work on that. That may be a good business plan.
Jason, an experiment for you. I want you to take what you just said, that quote, put it into tweet format, like Mr. Nadolsky's post right here. Post it on your Instagram, and we'll compare the likes. We'll see which one gets more likes and shares.
That's a good idea.
I mean, the overall concept is a great one, taking a holistic approach to your health, right? You know, exercise, diet, medicine when necessary.
Fuck that. All right, I'm sure that there was some more nuance in the podcast that he has listed here, but
this was clickbait.
We don't do any more research. We are strictly doing surface level, taking what you say and interpreting it in the least gratuitous way possible, making you look like an asshole. That's what we do.
Yeah, that was a clickbait.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Smart guy.
All right, Doc, we're done with you. All right, so our question from the crowd comes from a good friend of mine at Rodrigo 619.
Oh, what a great name.
My friend Rodrigo. He's a fucking unit of a man. He's a PE teacher in California, and he had the balls to go to the school board director or whatever and was like, hey, I need it was something crazy, like $50,000 to redo the gym. And they just fucking gave it to him. So their gym is like all brand new rogue shit. It's really, really nice. He started like a weightlifting team there. I love me some Rodrigo. Guy's the man. He asks, what is one supplement that I'm not currently taking, but I should, and why? So without knowing anything that he's taking, what's something that he should be taking?
I think he's got it covered, dude.
Yeah, it's good.
You're taking all the right shit.
Yeah, I don't know. What is one supplement that I'm not currently taking, but I should, and why?
Maybe a lot of people are low on vitamin D. Man, I feel like we've done this podcast before. Like,
can we get some new questions? Can we get some new questions, or this is going to turn into like a weird podcast where like we just talk about like God knows what. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is a good one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I almost feel like most people have the same questions about virtually everything involved with fitness. It's usually
they want to know. They want to know what's the best gut health supplements. What is the best
health supplements?
Health supplements.
What is the best diet for me to get on?
Yeah.
What's the
best macro split?
Paul, on his Ask Me Anything, got like what's the best macro split and training frequency? And I think Paul was just like, oh my fucking God, I can't answer this. Like, what? Give me 3 hours to compose my thoughts.
What's the one supplement? Vitamin D.
Maybe a full spectrum multi-mineral. Because he probably eats like a bodybuilder and doesn't get his multi-minerals.
Yep.
I think, I would shift this guy's line of thought more towards supplements are meant to address a specific need, right? So he shouldn't just sort of have the mindset of a blanket mindset. What is the best, like, you know what I mean? Like, what should I be taking? You know, like if you have a problem or something you're trying to enhance, you address that, a deficit or something.
It's a good point. I feel like I've gone down that rabbit hole a number of times where I just keep buying more supplements, figuring that I could, like, I'm going to put a Band-Aid on this thing that I don't do through nutrition. Like, let me buy a bunch of just individual vitamins and minerals because I don't want to eat any fucking spinach. You know, it just, that would probably be the first thing to address. Like, why are you looking to take a new supplement? There's a very good chance that if it's a supplement, it's not going to enhance performance in the magnitude that you think it will. A lot of that could possibly be placebo, unless you're taking, you know, the original drug, creatine, or like caffeine. But I mean, most of those actual vitamins, minerals won't. It's like you're going to notice a big difference. And
Jay,
I think what he means.
I have a confession, Jay.
What's that?
When you went down your adaptogen / nootropic like slide that you went down, I had serious FOMO. I thought that you had figured out something that I hadn't, like, that I just didn't know about, and I was like, I'm honestly scared to ask him because, like, it seems like some advanced shit that I wouldn't even understand.
Nootropics are cool.
Nootropics are very cool.
It all seemed like it would work. And
all the good ones are borderline illegal drugs.
Yeah.
Like they're gray area, sketchy drugs that are like derivatives of, like, I don't know, amphetamines or something, some other stimulant that.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was taking I just had like an entire, like, my pantry was just full of this stuff, and I'd have to take. It was almost like the stress of having to take them at certain times probably decreased my productivity just because I was constantly thinking about it. Like, I was always
just have a timer going off every 15 minutes through the day. Stop what you're doing.
Yeah. Fuck, it's terrible because now I'm like, I can't even remember the name of them. That's how that's how worthless most of them were. Shit. I mean, I still take theanine. God damn it, now I can't even remember. That is so bad that I took all that stuff.
Like, before I start working, I take 1,000 milligrams of alpha GPC, and then I take 20 milligrams of Noopept.
So I didn't take Noopept. That was something that I was like right there where I'm like, let me try this.
It's definitely a zinger.
And I found out, like, most of that stuff would just make me feel like a little bit. I would like Bacopa, whatever it is, Bacopa minoria, Ridio. Half of them you can't even pronounce it. Ridiola rosa.
Yeah,
Rosia.
Yeah. That's for your cortisol.
Rosea.
That helps your cortisol levels.
All the racetams, like, I tried all of those.
Yeah, like piracetam.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all
But
that.
they never.
I don't know how to say.
None of it really made me any more productive than I normally am. I think all it did was just, like, create this weird sort of, like Dom said, like a zingy effect in my head. Almost like it was like the effect of drinking too much or intaking too much caffeine minus the heart palpitations.
Yeah, that's literally how I feel when I take all those.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I think that's what people are looking for, is to not feel lazy, to feel a bit of zing, get off their ass, you know, get a little motivation to do something.
Sometimes I feel like it's like, if you're not motivated, there's nothing that you can take that's going to make you more motivated. It's kind of like...
You've never taken meth. No.
It's like, I think it's kind of like with, like, cannabis, where people are like, oh, it makes you lazy. And it's like, well, if you were lazy before,
It's gonna make you
probably
lazy.
not going to help. Yeah, it's probably not going to help.
I was on one of my, I was just perusing Reddit, and there was this guy who, you know, retired early, and he was talking about his life, and he's like, you don't need to take chemical substances to feel pleasure and all this. He was like, you can get the same pleasure from, like, you know, I started watching movies from the 80s, and it took me back to my childhood and all this, and I was like, this is a guy that's never tried MDMA.
You know what's a cool nootropic stack that they sell is caffeine with theanine in it, so that you don't feel the crash of the caffeine.
There's a lot of pre-workouts that do that.
Yeah,
now.
it's actually pretty
still
nice
take-
feeling.
My problem with the theanine is, like, it dulls the stimulant effect a little bit, or can, especially if you take too much of the theanine, in my opinion. And I mean, I've even had, I think I told you, you took too much of, I think you drank too much coffee or some stimulant or something like that. And you were like, dude, this is like too much. And I told you to take some theanine, and you were like, oh yeah, that helped so much. And like, I don't know, me, when I take a stimulant, like for pre-workout or getting work done, like, I want to feel cranked, dude.
I still take theanine. The one that really fucked me up, I think, was I took KSM 66. Like, I took ashwagandha for probably 2 years straight. And there is a side effect of ashwagandha, I can't think of the name of it. It's basically a side effect of which, because it is a cortisol, it blunts cortisol, it almost gives you no effect from cortisol. So everything that should stress you out causes such a little stress response that everything that should give you some level of response, you just don't. So they call it like the gray area, where things happen, you're like, it's all right.
That's why those mushroom why those mushroom blends are also ones you have to be worried about, because like the cordyceps mushrooms are very adrenal stimulating, and then some of the other ones do the complete opposite. And when the whole idea is to create this perfect balance of cortisol response with them, but sometimes like in the ingredients, the cordyceps is too high, and that was happening to me. I was taking Gorilla Shroom by Gorilla Mind, and the cordyceps dose is really high in it. Why are you laughing?
So I was taking Gorilla Shroom.
That's what it's called.
Such a fucking funny thing to say. Like,
but the cordyceps were so high that when I got my cortisol tested, my cortisol was through the roof. Oh. So I took that out, and now my cortisol's dropped a good bit.
Derek.
But yeah, like, have you tried Cognizin?
I think I've taken it in other things.
Okay. They also sell a derivative of modafinil.
That's like when I'm like, I really want to go over the edge, and you're like, I think I would just get modafinil.
Yeah.
No, I think my buddy owned a supplement store and gave me some. I think it's called like
Adrenafil or something like that.
Is it over the counter?
I didn't notice anything.
It's a metabolite of it.
Huh.
Yeah, I want to say it's a precursor. I could be wrong.
I'm trying to find it on this website.
Almost like a pro-hormone.
Did you use Nootropics Depot?
Yeah. I still use Nootropics Depot that's where I get my theanine from.
Yeah, they got a lot
That's
of cool
really
stuff.
The only nootropic I still take. So my problem is probably different than most people. Like, I don't have focus issues. The problem is that I kind of I hyper focus on things. Like, I don't have the ability to like switch to other things. So it's like, if you give me a task, like right now I have this weird thing that I have to do where I have to like take a bunch of data and like move it from one sort of block or a potential empty shell, if you will, and kind of move things back and forth. It's like very sort of just like clicky and like lots of like mouse clicks. And it's mindless. Like, there's no thought that I have to do. It's literally just like copy paste, move this here, open this file. Like, it's very mundane, and I will become so focused on that I'll just lose track of time. So I'm not like, some people need to focus on things. So I always worry, like, if I take modafinil or something like that, like, I don't know what the fuck would happen. I don't know what I would build. Like, I'd build like a time machine or something weird. Like, who knows?
Or just like rub a hole through the window because it's like all you can focus on, just cleaning it.
It's like that the Family Guy episode where Brian takes Adderall and he writes the like story and presents it to George R.R. Martin, and he's like, "This is shit. This just looks like it just sounds like you took a bunch of drugs and wrote a 700-page book."
What's the one where he takes he gets some crystal meth and he's like running through walls? He's like, "I'm so fucking ready." And you're like, it's hilarious.
So I think maybe this topic as a whole lends to like a greater discussion for the day, which would be like, it's what Paul said. It's like every supplement kind of has its purpose, right? You kind of like plug these things in as they're needed instead of blanket applying them. So when we look at like the pre-workout window, what are supplements that you guys emphasize in that pre-workout window?
So So Alex Kiko actually talked about it, and that's why I started trying it. Was taking that new peps and alpha GPC before training, just to his thought process is that it helps a lot with, like, you're supposed to take it on the days you're training like a lagging body part, so you have better mind to muscle connection. And I don't know, he uses a lot of big words that just go over my head, so I was like, all right, I'll try it, fuck it, let's see how it works.
That's by design.
I use it for work, and I feel focused in work, and honestly I feel like my workouts are a lot better. I don't even use caffeine or anything though when I train. Like, I don't really take this stimulant at all. But I feel stimulated from the new peps.
I stopped taking as much like now I take a non-stim pre-workout, which Paul hates. I can see it in his face. So I take a
disappointed.
He's like, why are you even taking it? I take a non-stim pre-workout, but I have like 4 shots of espresso, which is still far, like, it's like half the amount of. No, hear me out. It's still half the amount of caffeine than what's typically in a pre-workout with stimulants.
Totally.
What is it? I mean, well, a double shot's like 180 milligrams of caffeine.
So you're having like 360.
360.
Yeah, we're like usually it's like 500 milligrams of caffeine in a pre-workout, so it's less.
No, this is the only coffee I have every day.
Week.
But
why does it look purple?
Does it look purple?
It's got crushed up modafinil in it.
It's okay, I can see. We're good.
But yeah, I think.
Yeah, I don't understand anything. It's like going into a workout with caffeine. That's like, hey, we should have sex, but I want to try not to have a boner the whole time.
Ooh.
No erection.
Yeah.
I don't know. The caffeine would just like, it would make me so overly focused on the things that I don't need to be focused on that I couldn't concentrate. It's just weird. Like, I don't like that much caffeine. It was almost as if I'd done it for so long that when I stopped, that's when I noticed the difference, where I was like, oh, okay. Like, I can kind of focus on this thing.
I will say, like, my pre-workout caffeine dose these days is like 100, 150 milligrams, 75 to 150. I've come down a lot. Like, I just want enough to not feel like I'm dragging or a little sleepy.
Yeah.
How about on the post-workout side of things? I think we've talked about the post-workout window quite a bit and how kind of it's really overemphasized. But are there supplements that you now hit in that post-workout window? I mean, I would say creatine is going to be better absorbed in that post-workout window. Does it matter a lot? Probably not, but maybe worth a note there.
I still think it's a solid idea to have some faster digesting proteins post-workout. It's not going to make or break your outcomes, but it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think if we're saying something like L-theanine and alpha GPC before training can help with a better mind-muscle connection, if we're making that jump to say that can help, which it could, then I would say having whey protein after a workout is another safe one that we can say there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything that I take specifically after I train. It's almost as if the longer I've trained, the more I've realized how much things don't matter as much that I thought did matter as much. So now it's
let that nihilism wash over you. Just let it consume everything you are. Nothing fucking matters, man.
I mean, it matters, but I think at this point in my quote unquote career, like I'm not worried about like I need to be as optimal as possible. Like I just don't. There's other things that I need. Like I could definitely, I could optimize my sleep. Like I could definitely work on that. Like that's probably more important than the type of protein that I eat or drink or whatever after I train.
Like you're when it comes to like natural things you can take or do, like you're best served in a post-workout environment. Just like getting good nutrition in you and maybe just laying on the couch and de-stressing and relaxing, letting your heart rate and everything and blood pressure come back down. Like that's about all you can do, man.
Yeah. So I don't think, I think if you were to go real deep, like, I don't know, like Carbolin, is that the time to take something like Carbolin as post-workout if that's what you're into? Some whey, creatine like Ryan mentioned.
Dom talked about the importance of insulin spikes on the last podcast. So
I mean, that's like for the person trying to be super optimal, though. So, like, 5, I use a Humalog.
Yeah.
Drugs are bad. Drugs are illegal.
That's not a drug. We create insulin.
It's a therapeutic.
We at Gifted Performance do not promote or support the use of performance-enhancing drugs.
Dom's views are the views of Team Kuza.
Dom
and
was
Team
operating
Kuza
under
alone.
Team Kuza just then.
All right, what about on the general health side of things? I think we talked about like a broad spectrum multi-mineral is probably one that people are missing out on. Anything else?
And even that may not even be. I think that's still to be like it. Probably not hurtful.
I think like an essential fatty
Potentially
acid
helpful.
supplement is good, like a fish oil or a krill oil. That's definitely one you want to throw in there for general health.
Unless maybe you're getting like a decent amount of good fish.
What is the recommendation for how much fish you need to replace that? Is it 1 serving of fatty fish per day?
I think something like that.
I don't think it's a day. I think it's something
3 to 5
like
times a week.
I could be totally fucking this up, but I think it's like 2 to 3 servings a week or
I want to
something.
say it's 3 to 5. I think I remember
Maybe you
looking
might
at
be
it and
right.
going, "Oh, that's a lot." Like I've never eaten that. But there was a time I think when I was dead broke and I was eating a ton of tuna. But
And you got to be careful with that tuna, dude. All that mercury.
But
I was
don't
also
you-
just drinking a shit ton back then, so I was more concerned with how much drinking I was doing in college.
It's
Don't
two
you eat
servings of fatty fish a week.
Yeah, it needs to be
says.
fatty fish though, right? It can't be like tuna because tuna's
yeah.
You need
or like
to have
tilapia
at
or
least
cod.
at least 8 ounces or 2 servings of omega-3 rich fatty fish a week.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
If you,
grass-fed beef also can
Let me
work.
see.
certain plants can have
Fuck
some omegas
plants.
too. So
I'm not eating them. You get some of those fancy eggs, those Eggland's Bests. They've got some omega 3s, 6s, 9s. How do they get those?
Grass-fed has a high omega-6 profile.
Okay.
Can I ask a really dumb question that I
Absolutely.
could probably Google? How do they get the omega 3, 6, and 9s inside of those eggs? Do they have like?
It's what they feed the chickens. Final answer.
I don't believe that. I think what they're doing is they're getting the tiniest needle and they're just injecting it into each egg.
Yeah. I mean, until you can prove Jason wrong, without a doubt, he's right. That's how these things work.
That's science. That's science.
But no, I think it's the feed that they give the chickens because I think it's the same thing with like the cows, like conventionally farmed cow
that.
meat.
a more
Is it like that wacky chicken they
more
have in
natural
Mexico,
diet.
which is causing all those boxers and MMA people to?
That's
fail
pork.
drug test?
That's pork
Okay.
because they give the cows clenbuterol
Right.
because it helps them grow.
Right.
Apparently, clenbuterol and albuterol are like super anabolic in animal models.
Sure. I can see
That's
that.
what I've heard. Because I know one thing about boxers like Canelo Alvarez. The guy's clean. I've talked to him personally. He said, "Yo, soy clean,"
Didn't he get beat up?
and I
recently?
believed him. Yeah, he lost.
It's because he's not eating the pork.
He's not eating that Mexican pork.
Yeah. Well, shout outs to Canelo. I know you're listening.
All right, that handles
There's a
our
whole vitamin D, I
general,
guess, for general health.
as well. So take that supplement advice as you will. Stop asking us questions about supplements. We don't want to answer supplement questions anymore. We would
Fix your diet first. Do that. Fix that
eat-
first, and then
eat
work
like an
on
adult. When was the last time you saw a fruit go into your mouth? Try that out. Give it a shot. See how it works for you. All right, now, as has become customary in the good news everyone section, you're gonna watch 4 guys with masters in exercise physiology talk about some shit that they don't fucking understand in the slightest. I want to see some wild stuff. Check this right here. Solar panels that generate electricity at night without the sun. So look at this. 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 Solar energy come a long way. How exactly do the new solar panels work? So it's a thermoelectric generator. Got it. Harvests electricity from the temperature difference between the cells and the air. This is a process called thermal radiation. which occurs at night when heat leaves objects and radiates toward outer space. Fuck, man, that's
That makes
cool.
sense.
You know, it disappoints me sometimes when I read stuff like this. Everybody else's science is so much cooler than ours.
Oh, don't say that.
Contributing so little to the world.
Macros are super important.
Just contributing
I'm like,
so little. Not even putting a dent in the obesity pandemic. Fucking dude, you know what's disappointing though about solar energy is, wasn't this supposed to be the thing of the future like 10 years ago? And I think actually I don't think there's one house in my neighborhood with panels.
We've got a bunch of houses near us that have solar panels. The problem with it is solar panels are so inefficient that you need a ton of them on your roof, and they're not very attractive. And then
Yeah. Elon was supposed to make a really sexy one that looked just like a shingle, but he was like bullshitting the whole time with like a fake one, and they still haven't gotten there. Like,
it's like that truck that he just released that was supposed to come out 2 years ago or something.
He took the Theranos approach, where you talk about something really cool that you have, but it doesn't actually work, and then you just keep taking people's money until you find a way to make it work, hoping that one day it works. You know, that's how Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. He told people, he lied to people that the light bulb worked and kept taking their money for research. And like 4 years down the line, the light bulb just worked one day, and he was like, fuck yeah, it's always worked. Thanks for the money.
It's like the original Ponzi scheme.
I love it. I love it. It's amazing.
I mean, he is the richest man in the world right now, so.
He is.
Elon Musk.
It's working.
who is
Elon.
Kicked up.
Oh, Elon?
I guess the whole Twitter thing, I think that fell through. Or it's
Yeah.
going to fall through.
Yeah,
supposedly.
he violated his NDA, I think.
Something like that.
Dude, he fucked all of that up. The Twitter stock went from like 40 something a share to what, like, isn't it like 20 something a share right now?
It had a giant
Ruined
spike.
it.
Yeah, he ruined the whole thing. I think it's hilarious.
Maybe that was his grand scheme. Just
Yeah,
wanted to
he was
step in
like,
there.
let me fuck with them real quick. Let me just throw 40 billion at them and destroy their company.
He's a disruptor for sure. Like, as soon as he threatened to buy Twitter, all of a sudden, all these accounts that had been sort of, quote unquote, shadow banned, all of a sudden started getting like all these follows, and all these new, like, everything they started to do started to actually, get distributed appropriately. Probably because a bunch of people are like, oh no, like, Elon's going to figure this whole thing out and we're all going to get canned, so we just have to eliminate all evidence of everything we did. But solar panels.
Isn't the issue that the batteries are like the lithium mining process is extremely wasteful and horrendous for the environment? Isn't that also an issue?
I think that is true. I think that's true.
I don't know. I was looking into it, or I was starting to, because I was like, oh man, this sounds great. Maybe it'll help me save money. And then I looked around, I was like, nobody has this shit. There has to be a reason.
I've got a buddy who's extremely financially savvy. In a way, he comes from a group of people who have been stereotypically good with finances,
Okay.
whose lineage could possibly be a religion and also an ethnicity.
A little bit of Hava Nagila Hava.
I'm not going to say exactly what that is.
I got you.
But because he had the whole thing figured out, and basically it's like you put the solar panels on your home, and then you basically pay for them, and then once they're paid off at a discounted rate, like, you get a percentage off of what they should cost from the government, allegedly. And then once you're done financing them, then you basically don't pay for electric. So you're paying for them for like 10 years. So it doesn't make sense to do it if it's not the house you plan on living in forever. Like, it doesn't make sense, because then you're either going to have to pay for them all up front, or whoever buys your house in 3 years needs to now take over that finance agreement. So I think that's why a lot of people don't have them, because they're like, I don't really know about this house. And there's a lot of that going on right now, where people are just like buying houses and living in them for 3 years, and buying another house and living there for 3 years. But it could be
All just so you don't have to pay your electricity bill the last 20 years of your life. Like, just pay off your house, pay your electricity bill, be done with it, dude. Like,
So one of my main issues with solar panels is that, like, when people talk about how much energy they generate, I have no point of reference. So the article here says, they generate 50 milliwatts per square meter. I don't know what a square meter is or a milliwatt. It would take about 20 square meters to power conventional lights. Is 20 square meters a lot? Is that a little?
when we were looking for houses, asked your mom about them. I was like, oh, those must be great for money, right? And she was like,
that almost sounds like
maybe
you're dating Ryan's mom. So when we're looking for houses,
don't rule it out. Don't rule it out, Paul.
Your mom knows about it.
But she said something like, yeah, maybe if you have a pool, they're good for your pool. I was like, what? That's it? Fuck that. I didn't even think about it anymore. Didn't entertain the conversation.
You know where they could be useful in Florida? And this is something I thought about when my buddy got them, is that they're used because we have hurricanes here. And for me, that's the biggest pain in the ass of hurricanes. As long as like my roof's in order and windows are good and all that, it's like not having power for however long. Like that's in the middle of the summer, because hurricane season is also the middle of the summer when we just sweat profusely. And so now you don't have air conditioning. So I think solar panels would be good, because then you could still power your home, but then also the solar panels could get ripped off of your roof.
That's what I'm saying. Those things don't look like they're fastened on there very well.
Is hurricane season dark?
What? What do you mean by dark?
Is hurricane season dark? I don't know. I've never been through a hurricane season. I just would imagine there'd be lots of
the sun still works the same. Yeah, it's still standard sun.
Same old.
I just figured the sun would be blocked.
By what? A hurricane?
A hurricane?
Oh, like clouds?
By clouds,
okay.
dude. Okay, I guess Florida's different because it rains and it's dark for like 10 minutes and then it's sunny. And
yeah.
But like in Georgia, like it's just dark.
I think
like,
Jason's more so talking about the post-hurricane period when the power is out and the sun shines again and you have no like electricity and you need approximately 20 square meters, which could be a lot. It could be nothing. And that's going to power conventional lights.
No,
like
you're
if
right,
I cover my whole ceiling, my whole roof, like what is that? 100 square meters? Why are we talking in meters?
I don't measure things well because it's the metric system, right? So I guess we should be using that.
Gross.
Yeah, I could never have these here.
Do you see any houses up there that have those?
No.
Is there sun in Michigan? Michigan has some really pretty parts.
No, it does.
I talked so much shit. About Michigan, and then I Googled one of the lakes because it was mentioned in that weird dude's post. We can ignore it. Or we can skip past that though. And it looked like a tropical wonderland, dude.
Yeah, our Great Lakes are cool.
The beach is better.
I was like, holy shit, Michigan has some cool shit.
Yeah, there's some cool shit in Michigan for sure. But there's also
you probably only go 2 weeks out of the year, but
yeah, I think Michigan. The portions of Michigan that aren't very good are different level, not very good. It's like you go to Chicago. Chicago sucks because people are shooting each other, but you can drink the water. Like that's a bonus.
Pros and cons.
It's pros and cons.
Straight bullet, water.
Yeah, but solar panels.
Every time I go to Costco, I always feel so bad because some asshole's trying to sell me solar panels.
Oh, that's the worst.
I'm always like, no.
That's why I bring my kid and then I act like he's doing something crazy. I'm like, I can't. This he's trying to buy a machine gun.
He just shit himself.
Just start yelling at your kid.
That's got to be like top 10 worst jobs in America. Selling solar panels at a Costco.
Yeah.
Every time I go to Costco,
I told you about my buddy
Rejection.
who owns that company that sells. They do solar panels. That's what they do.
I'm sure they make a lot of money.
Yeah, but the salesmen literally have to go door to door to door to door to door. That's what they do. They like get neighborhoods and they just knock on doors.
What you do is you answer the door and they say, "Oh, I'm here with solar panels, blah blah blah." And you say, "Okay, hold on one second. Let me go grab my wife." And then you just shut the door and you never come back. And you see how long they stand there.
That's what we have, like one of those fancy doorbells where I can see who's at the door, and I'm like,
Ooh.
Nope, not answering that one. Like it's not gonna happen.
The new house had that, but then the motherfuckers that owned it like ripped all that shit down. Like, yo,
Yeah.
You got to leave that.
I'll tell you what, dude. I am never happy to open my door and a stranger be on the other side.
It's so annoying. You're
I'm
just
always
like,
like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, I don't do it.
No, I just ignore them until they go away, even though they see the cars in the driveway. It's like, bitch, I know you're home. I'm not answering.
Yeah. My front yard would have to be completely on fire for me to leave this office during the day. Like
or
for
I'll
me to
answer
go
from my
outside.
ring, and I'll be like, can I help you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But solar
All right,
panels.
folks, that brings us to the end of our podcast for the day. Listen, if this podcast, if Jake saw fit to include the intro to this podcast and we offended you, please send all complaints to apparel@giftedperformance.com. That is our HR and complaint line. You can forward those over. If that didn't make it in and this doesn't make any sense, then we'll just see you on the next episode of the GPP. In the meantime and in between times, we hope that you stay gifted. Paul, say it.
Bye. Oh, wait. I am taking on clients right now if anybody's looking for a coach. Bye.